If you had any reason to doubt that agriculture will be fingered for the environmental problems affecting major U.S. waterways, those doubts should have been removed this month. Two significant developments occurred in September in two high-profile watersheds in the U.S. A federal judge ordered the EPA to, within 6 months, decide whether to set Clean Water Act standards for nitrogen and phosphorus in all U.S. waterways, or explain why these standards aren't needed. Earlier this month, a federal judge in Virginia upheld federal and state pollution limits worked out by the EPA, 6 states, and Washington, D.C. These limits were meant to improve the health of Chesapeake Bay by more tightly regulating wastewater treatment, construction along waterways, and agricultural runoff. Buried in wire service articles about these developments was the fact that planting cover crops can absorb nitrogen and reduce nitrate pollution. An EPA official acknowledged that cover crops can do this, but noted that participation is voluntary and the agency doesn't have the authority to make it mandatory. But some well-placed incentives this year didn't stop Iowa farmers from gobbling up almost $3 million in state cost share funds to seed cover crops on almost 110,000 acres in 85 counties. This money was made available mostly to farmers who have never used cover crops before. So does this mean that the EPA doesn't believe anything can be accomplished unless there is a regulation? If that's the case, how did no-till acres in the U.S. grow from 3.2 million acres in 1972 to nearly 90 million acres today? In our upcoming edition of Conservation Tillage Guide, which mails out October 21st, one article will illustrate why the practices no-tillers believe in are an important hedge against the regulatory risks that we may be facing in the future. Robert Barr, a researcher from Purdue University at Indianapolis, will discuss the results of research he's conducted on some no-till farms near Indianapolis that will show how no-till and cover crops can be a part of the solution to this nutrient loading conundrum. Thank you very much for listening and make it a successful day.